Dark Knight chess move. Peace and love, royal family. Let me see. We're going to discuss now aliens, abductions. Then, I want to talk about the feds and just us being black. And also bring it into entities and what's going on with the black nation and what I see from going on in the past. So on that note, lately you've been hearing, I know it's coming on lately now, and aliens is here, all types of information and documentaries about how the government is covering up aliens. A lot of witnesses and testimony of people who are saying they was abducted, telling stories of how, their minds was compromised and everything. So the thing to it is that a lot of these things first got different layers to it that you have to unfold, because, you got government agents that is there putting all this information out, and you have to know the difference between truth and reality. One thing I do, I study the past. So in studying the past, it's like everything that's going on today, if I bump into it in ancient books, it's not new. And that's where the problem comes. All right. For you to understand, they saying that, all right, what we've been worshiping as God is literally our ancestors or beings worshiping aliens, right? Now, that has some type of truth to it, but I'm going to give you both sides. I'm not taking sides in any of this. I'm going to speak to you so you get just knowledge and understanding. So now, they see that the gods or deities, even to Jehovah, whatever it was, is some type of entity or alien that our ancestors all worshipped. Well, that's fine. Now, the thing to that is that a lot of other occult books, esoteric books, even the Egyptians, we got our Thoth, our Isis, and all these things. They're saying that those are literally aliens, and they come back onto people, and they either compromise you in some way. Now, to summarize, using the Sumerian text and what everybody else is saying, is that we're not really talking to a god or worshiping a god. They're saying that we're literally foods for alien. We're being harvested, and that we shouldn't participate in any religious rituals or worship anything, because those is aliens and they're literally feeding off of us. And really, books, a lot of books say the same thing too. Prophecies are saying that that's the whole thing to it, that it looks bad for us. But now, let's leave that alone for a minute. We're going to do a 360 to make all this make sense. So, when you look now, like in the 1940s, you got J. Edgar Hoover made up the feds, the FBI. Now, the time he made it up was the same time, or maybe 5 years later, aliens started coming into media, newspapers. All of a sudden, we getting visits. This is around 1950s, same time around when Hoover did the FBI. Now, you would think that more than anything, he'll be doing it for the purpose of really monitoring other countries, terrorist groups, and other stuff like that. But it didn't come out like that. Originally, when it was created, they was monitoring the urban areas. This is your Black Panther groups, your Black Guerrilla family, or any type of families that they felt was a threat to them. That was their main concern. And so you see the FBI and all of them was really doing inner urban work in America. And their whole focus was on the black race. And that's the thing that we don't understand. You have so much surveillance on Dr. Martin Luther King, so much surveillance on Malcolm X. I'm using them because everybody knows their history and they're most documented out of everybody. But what we don't realize is they could have known their assassination and prevented it, but instead they allowed it to go down. I'm going to just say that, not just to say that really half the people around him wasn't actually government agents. And, same thing with Malcolm X, even all of them societies that we see, all of them groups, half of the people in them is police and feds. And now today, I would say every community and every group, 75% of the people in there is police and feds. And that's a fact, That's the whole point to what I'm getting to now. We've all know the story of COINTELPRO, who's also really was called, the Black Desk, and they have a few other names today. But in reality, all these groups is put together to make sure that a race of people don't rise. You see, the killing of Martin Luther King, the killing of Malcolm X has more to do with politics. It's politically motivated because you have leaders and a great amount of people that will believe in them. And this now will lead to a threat to the government. So Hoover himself created the FBI to neutralize any type of political party or any type of civilian that engages in social events that will cause them to be seen as somebody great. If you look at what I'm saying and you look at all the black actors, leaders, whoever, today they're nothing. At one point they was at their peak and maximum when they used them, but today they're dead. They're nobody because that's the FBI. That's what they do. They gather intelligence on you and use it against you. In the family household today, out of every 3, you can literally say 1 is the feds. It's not in the way that you think. It could be in the instruments you carry, the devices you're using. Just you in general is being watched. You're the Fed because you're being watched. With you being watched, that means they surveillance everybody in your circle. Everything you eat, everything you socialize with, who you fucking, everything. They gotta have it all. You see, when you do the research, when they first started, it's a point to where I'm going to with this, because it's very serious. But I'm going to get to it in a second. I just want you to understand how deep this is. When it first started, they were studying not Iraqi people, not Chinese people. They didn't study terrorists and overseas. They were studying black people. Their courses was on anything black, black history, black science. They know more about King Tut, the Olmecs. They know more about ancient black history than you do, the occult history. They know everything. Why? Because they study you. They know everything. They know your music better than you do. The history of your music better than you do. Trust me, this is what they do for a living. You understand? So the first thing they studied was the black race. And then they put all the stuff that you see in the community to make sure they don't rise. They plot their demise. They kept them regulated, separated, by infiltrating them with a whole bunch of informants and agents that kept putting not just drugs, influenced them in negative ways. You understand? This is just the course of how they keep everybody from uniting or becoming one because of this UFO thing. So now let me get to the next point. The same time Hoover put together the FBI is the same time the UFOs started coming. He knew this because he read the prophecies. You see, everybody that's getting attacked and abducted by these aliens, UFOs, these sightings, it's more deeper to it, but I'm going to just go into general context. If you look at the race of the people, not that race is a big issue or I'm a racist, it's only happening really to the Caucasian race. It's a force that is not one with anything unnatural that is not from the environment. Not saying that they're not naturally from the environment. It's deeper, but that's why it attacks them. You understand? It's united or from the same star system we're from. You see, in the Book of Solomon, it's a good clue. That's the keys of Solomon. He tell you when he catch some of the demons that he asks one of them, where are you from? And he says, I'm from the same star system that black people is from. You know, when they look up at the stars, they don't know that they're being enticed by us. You know, but we're part of them and they're part of us. So right there, you get enough of a hint to understand what's going on. It ain't going to affect us like it affects them. That's a fact. So you see, when we don't see these abductions, we don't see these sightings, you got to realize first, just like how they had the HAL computer, the first Dell or IBM computer, the first one, you got to remember now, it's the same old ass computer you were seeing when you look at the old UFOs, these big metallic things that's wibble wobbling through space with flashing lights on them like they got a right signal and left signal turn on them. So if you understand that, then you see how today it's just light streaks, cloud streaks, all type of light stuff. As we advanced in technology, so that the UFO that's out there and on the videos we're seeing, so it's not actually dumb, because it will still be them in their same metal ships. Why would they need metal ships anyway in the first place? Very smart. But anyways, these metal objects flying around, but you see today now it's light or holographic things that shape shift in the air. You see, you got to get the science of what's going on, my whole point, right? So anyways, this is what makes it very controversial. The controversial thing about it is that when you read ancient books, it tell you a whole nother story. And that story, to me, I can relate to. It's a story about a man, any human, you. It tell you about the atom. And then the second one, I don't remember the name fully to say it correct, but there's the atom and the atomic. The Adam was a man before Enosh, right? You see, there was one part where they said that man was communicating with God and everything, and that was right before Enosh. They said after Enosh, man started having to build altars to communicate with God, saying we lost some type of psychic connection. The psychic connection, that's the barotrace gland and the Jacobson glands. It's like some lower animal glands, but it gives you psychic and telekinesis abilities, makes you complete. You're not complete without it. Well, the original atomic man had it and the atom didn't. You understand? So that's really the science between it. But we're not going to call it the atom didn't. We're going to call it what it was, Enosh. The word Enosh means mortal man. So that's how it come about. So how we see this in society and bring this into reality now? All right. According to ancient books, they're trying to say that, as you ascend, the man that is now, you become now back with all your organs, and we're going to go all the way deep now to make this make sense. Your cells. Cells are considered actual beings, living portals. You know, when I did my videos, I told you how an atom have 3 stages to it, with its last stage turning into a being. Okay, well, when you do the research, everything that exists in this holographic world, for it to be a hologram, it has to be in motion. For it to be in motion, it has to exist here. If it exists here, it has some type of life force to it. It's alive, a living thing. Even a dead rock, even if you made it out of plastic, it's alive. You just can't see it because it has to exist. It don't exist on this plane how you think. You know, to get into the science of it will be busting your head open. But anything that you see in this world, you see it through a 4th dimensional view or a 3-dimensional view. If it's a 4th dimensional view, it's coming from your subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind that only could interpret 4th dimensions and higher, it's actually seeing the object up in the astral world projected through light rays. These light rays connect to your eyes and it makes it a 3-dimensional image through the fact that you don't actually see outside of you, you see inside of your brain. You only interpret in electrical signals that you're actually witnessing. So you could be inside of a nasty, ugly monster's head and don't know that. But your mind is telling you that you're outside walking around. You understand? And that's where your reality has to come to life. You got to realize if they're telling you that nothing outside of you is real, you're actually living in some type of entity. You're living in something. It's your inside of you that interpret it to make it that image, that electrical pulse that your brain translated through your retina. So if you understand that, you would see it now, boom. Take away the image and you're looking at what? Maybe hexagons, squares, trapezoids, and you actually projecting light rays on it and making your mind actually project what's in those light rays to be what's real. Well, it's something like that, it works. But if you take away all the light rays and you were just looking at, say if it was trapezoids, triangles, all shapes combined together make the platonic that interact with your mind as far as when magnetic field hit it by how hard you think and your will and your passion, you're looking at your reality. You understand? You could break it sideways, up and down, or perceive it long distance back and forth, your basic directions of axis. So that's how it works. You see, so now once you understand that, this is ancient science now, I'm telling you what they're saying. Right? According to that now, you now come with the zodiac signs. By your born date and everything through astrology, you ascend down here into this world to have an experience, and through those 9 planets and the 12 zodiac, you get attributes or characteristics to you. These characteristics is your insecurities or like bad traits that you have to correct, because you will get them from animals because they've been here first and they're the governors of the planets. So you now have angels, demons, all that alignment as far as now still with just your cell. We're talking about the portal of a cell. Now you're putting 2 cells together, 3 cells together, 4 cells. You got a bunch of communities of peoples combining to make one intelligent form, which is you. So you can't, as far as why we call it a holographic universe, you could take one piece of your finger or hand, so let's say the hand, chop the whole hand in half, put it in the water with whatever chemicals it needs to regrow it, and you could regenerate another hand. You could go further and cut off one finger and put it in there and it will regenerate another hand. As a matter of fact, you could cut off just a fingernail and it will regenerate a whole body. So that's why it's called a hologram, because one cell has all the information of all the cells, which is all your structure formation. So now with that in mind, when you ascend through these zodiacs and these planetary systems, you acquire psychic abilities, but they're inside of you and they're sleeping, they're dormant. So when you're in this world, it's like you're soulless. You become what those zodiac signs made you, which is animals and creatures. So we only have a creature essence to us, meaning you go to work, you come home, you take care of your kids, you cook. That's not really a human being. That's a program. You know, depending what's your program, it's in auto mode. You're probably not conscious. So this is where it gets kind of tricky. As you go through adversities and hardship, another part of your soul starts to compress. You compress, you compress. You get hard on yourself. You start to grow, you learn. This is all part of what's called your chakra systems opening. As you mature, they open up and you see different things now. Instead of you just using your 5 senses, you'll start using what's called perception. Your third eye, meaning when you see somebody coming to you and they wanting something from you, or they just coming to you, you already have an idea what's their motive behind their reason for coming to you, not listening to the words exactly, but understanding the motive. So that's perception, really, to already know beforehand. So, this is a sign of the third eye opening. Once you get this perception, you will realize now you have other worlds here. That matrix that you're seeing has more parts to it. It's different frequencies. Out of the whole electromagnetic spectrum, you was never seeing the whole spectrum. You was only seeing some of it. So now as you ascend up and you compress more, you give off a different shade of radiance in your field. This field that we call the aura magnetic field, or Merkaba, it now gives you a vision that you see more of the spectrum as you grow. So now that you're going to see more, you're going to be able to see beings, entities, aliens, everything, all of these that already has been here that's operating on higher frequencies. Now, a lot of us, is, like I said, is from the star system that is attached to them. In some cases, they're going to come back to you. They're going to give you lessons. Some of them going to be here exchanging energies with you, what they will call energy vampires, succubuses. The reason is, it's not they're energy vampires or succubuses. It's like you don't realize the air is alive. They call the wind is alive. And we share these with ourselves to make ourselves give life. Like how you exchange between, the trees' nitrogen and your oxygen or whatever, or our nitrogen and carbon, whatever it is, to give life. We all exchange between each other. Well, there's invisible beings that use energies from us too. It don't kill you and it don't take nothing from you, and they give you back something in return. So this is all a part of the cycle that we don't see that's going on. Take place in our dreams, or when we're sleeping, or just unconscious things we don't realize. But a lot of people now is trying to say, oh, these is the aliens coming back and this is bad and you're being abducted, because it has an energy that's negative force and positive force. This goes into what's called chaos gods. Chaos gods is the whole another level of where we're from. We see all these aliens, entities is from another place called the abyss, that only certain people that's vibrating at their frequencies is attached to them, and that they don't hold no problem to. But to the rest of the world, if you're seeing it, life in a negative way, it's going to attack you in a negative way. If you're seeing life in a positive way, it probably won't have nothing to do with you. So a lot of people, especially white people, they like to have their own way. They don't like to see life how it is and respect nature for what they see. They would see something and try to change it. Even if it's somebody doing wrong, they want to correct it. They want to do something about it, not realizing we're all here to learn from each other's lesson. We're not here to change the world. And so you get these things where they get terrified, or they feel that it's ugly, or this is and it attacks them. And that's what you see when you hear with these abductions. Maybe half of those, though, I would say the government put out falsely to make you not know about ascending and believing in who you are. This all goes back now to why J. Edgar Hoover made up the FBI. You see, the reason why the FBI was created in the first place was because he read the prophecy that the gods was coming back from 1950s and aliens was going to be on them and be with them. So they been preparing by making up the CIA, all these services that started destroying the black community, and that was their only job. If you find out, CIA, all these other places now, when they already locked down the black community and have us destroyed, yeah, they focusing on their fake terrorism and everything, but their first reason for being created was counterintelligence for the black community and to destroy the black community, because they was the ascended gods coming back from the prophecy, and they knew this. You understand? Hitler told them, and they learned from Hitler's experience what was really going on. So all of them came together, the KGB, all this stuff, and they've been oppressing us ever since. But the thing to it is, we're from what's called the abyss, the dark gods, chaos gods, the dark light. This you got to study the tree of life and learn about the Ein Sof and all that to understand what I'm saying. But once you learn the tree of life and understand what's going on, you realize that you come from the evils of what they call in the Bible the bad, everything, because we deal, like I told you, with those star spirits from our constellation. So with us having to deal with them, we're the destroyers. Any god that you see, like Mars the Destroyer or whatever it is, because you need destruction for creativity to create. chaos, a lot of people got it wrong and just think we're just some out of order God or out of order energy that is here to make trouble and chaos. No, chaos is literally when you have come to terms with who you are. It's the spirit of truth, because we all live in our own illusion, and what we believe to be our reality is us in our conditioned state of the culture we was raised in. So if somebody wants to attack you, they just got to attack your culture, and they attack you. Chaos will teach you how not to cling to culture, not to cling to belief, and only believe in yourself and the Most High that is actually the one who is chaos. You wouldn't believe, like Horus, Isis, all of those is chaos gods. You would count Jesus as a chaos god. All of those is what the whole world fear. They really fear God, to be honest. They don't want him to come and they're going to kill him, like how they planning on destroying aliens. If you co-populate with them soon, they're going to tell you can't worship entities and all this other shit too. You can't do none of that. They're going to say, see, you human. The thing with being a human is a lot of people is what's called clones. They just born from these aliens without souls. And what they do, they're here, yes, brother, all right, to keep you in order. They're here just to make sure you follow them. They're the ones in society that everybody's trying to be like, but they don't have a soul. So they don't understand what you're going through or can relate to it. They're going to put you on drugs and say you're crazy. But they soulless people. You got to realize half of this world is not real. The people themselves don't have a soul. Once you realize that, you will understand your journey is separate and you have to individualize yourself and can't believe in it. So chaos will teach you all these things. Chaos itself is, you look at how you was born. If you look at how you was born, it was from having sex. Sex itself is a destructive force of pounding on the panani, and you get a beautiful child. And that's how chaos works. So chaos will make you question your belief and reconstruct yourself. Chaos is always killing things. It's the same way like the 4 seasons. You have winter, summer, spring, fall. You would call chaos the transition that come 8 times a year to give y'all the different seasons, because it gives the world a place, a time to renew. And that's when a death is called a constant rebirth, the resurrection, the second living. So you got to understand what's going on and why chaos and the abyss and God is here. It's not to destroy, it's to recreate. So with all that in mind, let's get it all now summarized. So you should understand that you got a force out here to make sure you don't rise, you don't be one. Communicate together, unite. It's here to pull y'all apart and make y'all believe that this is this and this is that. They use your community leaders, your church leaders, all these other people to keep y'all in line. Y'all have to go and ride beyond that. Aside from that, they infiltrated every conscious community. They are the conscious teachers, and they doing a whole bunch of dirt to keep y'all minds settled. I come to tell y'all is really like higher beings, those aliens. And we are here to get our upgrade and be the gods who we was. Everybody else is going to try to stop that. I don't say I believe in God. I don't say that I worship anything. I never told y'all that. I'm saying I'm a human being that know myself, and I'm a truther. That's who I am. I don't worship nothing. You understand? I praise to nothing. I'm a truth, and I know who I am. I research, and I'm giving y'all facts. Fact is, you know, till like 2005, they thought that Egypt was actually a white race. Egyptians is a white race. And that's the whole thing to this. You see, until a whole bunch of black people got together, and challenged the whole system, everybody literally had it documented that Egyptians was not a black Negro race. So, you see, until that was proven by a bunch of good black scientists and doctors that it is a black race, everybody would say that and keep it that way. And the fact is, they really don't want y'all to know the truth. You know, part of the truth is this. Everybody here that is black is not the same black. Africans is not the same as Indians. they're different people. Brown people and dark-skinned people is not the same. And this is what they don't want y'all to know. The reason why is because on every continent, at the same time, races of black people popped up of all shades. That's what they don't want to tell you. You understand? So they designating you to Africa, African. Nah, and the Yucatan Peninsula at the same time was the brown people popping up. And we're not talking the little time period that we're talking. They got the timeline probably pushed back by around 3,000 years. You're talking everybody's way older because now you're looking at Egypt. Egypt is actually not a part of Africa like how we think. You know why? Think about it. We go in and we look at any continent that has pyramids on it and they find ancient artifacts. You can't say that those people, all right, like in Romania they find them, in China they find them. You can't say they Chinese. You can't say they African either. You can say they're Egyptian. You get that? Egyptians is everywhere. And we not acknowledging that. We keep saying African, African, African. It's not. You could know who's African and who isn't. You understand? Like you look at, for instance, a lot of the people from the Caribbean. The Caribbean, if you're from the Caribbean or any of them islands, you're a South American Indian. You're not an African. Today you're an African because you're mixed when they brought the African there. But you still got two races that was coinciding together because what they're not telling you is the Egyptians was on every continent trading with everybody. And the Moors was ruling too. So we got mad species and tribes of different peoples that is still us. You understand? But we was all running consecutively at the same time. Everybody was at the same time. It wasn't no one place and people slowly migrated. They be trying to make us so remedial. You're not remedial, you understand? And behind every continent came afterwards the other races, such as your Chinese, such as your American Indian. Because you looking now, go back to furthest. In South America, you talking the Olmecs. You understand what I'm saying? That's now the precursor to what came next, your Toltecs, your Mayans, and all of them. They wasn't there. Those races disappeared. Now, when we speak of that race, let me go back to this whole alien theory. Now, a lot of them is saying you feeding energies and these things is here to harvest us. And the truth is now, let me see. Suppose that is true. And suppose that we worshiping these things. Even if you didn't worship the thing, at the end of the day, they're here to take you. And what would happen now, let's say, if you look at the Olmecs that's gone, the Mayans that's gone, the people of Easter Island that's gone, keep that in mind. They just disappeared. I'm not going with what they saying in the books that, they picked up and left. Nah, these people just disappeared. So it's deeper than that. When I get more information on it, because I'm on that journey, I'll let you know. But it has a lot to do with this whole alien thing. So to summarize this, our ancestors said that we've been, like when you were sent, all your organs on your body is a separate entity from these cells. And each organ has an alien-looking being that's attached to it that's on the astral plane. And each alien got a whole bunch of other funny reptilian and creatures looking. But it's actually there to redo your body or to take off those insecurities you got from the 12 zodiac signs and from the 9 planets. Once they come and remove all of these things, then you're ready now as ascended master and you become a light being and you travel. And you do have a fake Jehovah and you do have a real God principle inside of you, but those is like your different bodies, your astral body, then you got your emotional body, you got your light body. It's different parts of you, your soul. So as you go through each level of yourself, each one have scenes that play out. This will be like your Tuat, or like in the Egyptian Book of the Dead, where you going into your coming into day rituals. You see, all of these now is what they calling aliens, spirits. They trying to not make you do these things so you be confused. But I'm here to tell you that regardless of what they're telling you, you still have as a soul a journey to take. And that journey now involves aliens, gods, and all this stuff because it's a part of your organs. You have to research what is your organs for real. You realize everything is an entity and it has an entity image to you, and you're going to see them. So don't listen to everybody with this alien stuff and the way they're teaching it to you. They're there and they over us, and they in this. We have a parallel universe with not just one universe with everything. We got the ability to transcend this whole reality and see everything that started from the beginning to, what is going to happen in your future. We could do that. But they're not going to tell you these things. You will have to know for yourself by taking the journey. So I'm just telling you stuff that they don't tell us that we know, or I know, that they try to put it to alien or some type of funny abduction thing. But it's not. You understand? But that's what they're going to make you think, because a lot of them are soulless, a lot of them is afraid. And for us as black people, like I told you, we're from what's called the indigos. These is what we call higher beings. What they see as angels, some say demons, some people say gods. These is where we're from. We're not from where they're from, and we can't have their panic and share their worries because our journey is different from theirs. They know that it's documented, but the government ain't going to speak on it. But I'm here to let you know what's going on, so you have a better understanding of yourself. Now, all this is done covertly while you're sleeping, and you only feel probably remnants of it and have little, thoughts of it or, visions of it when you wake up or during your day. But there's other things going on inside of you too. You have other beings that's inside of you. But from ancient times, they tell you you was never a physical person. You was always a being that other things come, like you're an antenna, and just, communicate with you, and you communicate like an oracle or whatever. But later on, as Europeans took you from your land and brought you to America, they civilized you and taught you how to be like an American, go shopping, work, and this is your new life. Love it and you'll be good. Hate it and go back to being with nature and dealing with those forces in your spirit and your soul and all that, and the God and alien. That's what you have to deal with. These is facts. So I'm just letting you know what's out there, and if you want to take yourself there. Aside from that, you're going to witness it when you die. But your journey is to ascend while you're alive, because if you don't go through it now, you're going to go through it from the ground level of when you die. You could do it through meditation now and take yourself on higher levels, so you pass like a certain low level of it. Anyway, I hope you get a good understanding of everything. University of Conscious Science. One love.